Hello, everyone. This is Merlin, and welcome to my first podcast ever. My podcast name is Mom's Talk. My name is Merlin. I am originally from Honduras, and my podcast is centered in children and raising children and parenting and co parenting and being um, a joint force to raise the responsible adults. I know it's a lot of statistics out here, a lot of stuff, a lot of questionings, a lot of um, opinions and disagreements and agreements because of this specific topic. It is very controversial. A lot of people don't really like to talk about this topic because many people don't like the idea of co-parenting or being a single parent for whatever the circumstances might be. They might not get along. They might just, whatever the case might be. This podcast is supposed to be with my sister, but my sister did not come. She didn't want to come. So I was like, you know what? It's okay. I will find somebody else to do it with. But for right now, the podcast name is Mom's Talk. So moms do talk. Right? We want to talk about how we're raising children. We want to talk about what we do that makes us different, that make our outcome in raising our children completely different than other people. I do understand that everybody raises their children the way they want to. I don't have to raise my children the way the other person raised their children. And we're going to be talking about what works, what doesn't work. Because what works is actually with the outcome of that plan or the type of way of you raise your children. Doesn't matter what people say. People can say, I did the best I could. Yeah, everybody does the best they could. Everybody does what they know how to do, right? Or they know. Some people just don't know how to raise children. Some people, that's just all they know. So what makes this interesting is the brought up of the parents. So the parents is raising that way, so they're gonna raise their children. And some parents want to break that cycle, so they literally go completely opposite of what they know because they want to do something completely different because they don't want to imitate their parents. Whether their parents did a good job or whether the parents were way too strict or whether the parents were just not what they liked growing up, so they go completely different, and again it has a different outcome, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about. I know parents who have been going through a lot. I know parents, people parent their children strictly. I know some parents, parent their children very loose. Some parents, they don't believe in boundaries. Some parents don't believe in being strict. Some parents believe that the child has an opinion. Some parents believe that the child can do whatever they want to do and they are smart enough to make a choice or decision for themselves. Right? So we're going to be discussing all of these things. We're going to have different topics every single week. So I'm going to be posting every week, every Sunday at 1 o'clock. Not at 1 o'clock, for 1 hour. So you guys will definitely see one episode every single week. Now, why am I yapping about parenting? Right? People says like, I know what I'm doing, and that's okay. And I know people know what they're doing, right? So to speak. Because not everybody knows what they're doing, but they have the notion or the illusion that they do know what they're doing. I am the same way. I have the illusion that I know what I'm doing. I have 3 children, and my 3 children are completely 3 different people. Every child is different. Like what works with one, it will never work with the second or the third one. Now, before I continue telling you about parenting, that I'm pretty sure, again, this is only my opinion. This is not no psychiatrist, no scientifically proven, no, nothing. There's no professionalism here. This is 100% my experience, my opinion, how I view things, how I think everybody should do things, even though they don't have to do it, and I know it, but I will say it anyways. So, I have three kids, right? Three kids. I have my daughter, Noelia, my baby, Jeremiah, and my little baby, Micah, right? I love all my children the right way, but you have to learn a little more about me. I'm originally from Honduras. I came to the US, to New York specifically, back in there when I was 18. I was gonna say a year, but I don't want to say the year because I don't want you guys to guess my age, which is pretty easy, but I'm not gonna say it. And when I came to the States when I was 18 years old, I came to New York. I love the Big Apple. I love New York, right? And I'm gonna die there. That's just the honest truth. But anyway, when I came, I was 18 years old. I had my daughter at a very early age. And when I came to the States, I chose to do my thing. I learned how to speak English because I did not know how to speak English or whatsoever. So I learned how to speak English. I I made some choices and decisions that I'm not really proud of and never will be. Number one is because I had additional two more children out of wedlock, and that's not fair for the children, and that wasn't fair at all, especially for them or for my daughter, because my daughter, I left her back home when she was 2 years old. So when I came here, I was still young. And another thing, we're going to get into it, having children at an early age. We're going to talk about that later on. But from my experience, for what I went through, I would never have done that to my child. I would never had, if I could do it all over, I would do it completely differently because I love my children. And I made the biggest mistake to leave my daughter back home when she was only 2. So when when I came to New York, it was quite different and difficult, right? Because, I don't know the language. I don't know nothing about it. I only speak Spanish and I was quite young. So think about it, teenager, the Big Apple, get in trouble left to right. However, I met Jeremiah's father in New York in 2004, 5, maybe 2005. So I met him, and when I met him again, I still don't speak well English. I obviously you can hear my accent. I still have a big accent, but I still didn't speak pretty English. So I met him, and I really, 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 really did like him a lot, and I wanted to be with him, and I wanted to marry him and everything, but it didn't work out. It didn't pan out. When I was 7 months pregnant, he told me that he has another son on the way. And actually, let me take that back. Maybe 8, close to 9 months old, pregnant. That Jeremiah was gonna be born in April, and his older son was gonna be born in November. So that shattered my world. I was like, okay. And the only thing I could say to him over the phone, I hate you. A little background to that. I was actually living in a shelter because this dude did not even want to be part of me. So it was such a bad situation. Really, really bad situation. And after that, I never spoke to him again. No. I did, actually. I never spoke to him again. Never. So then I tried to come back, and because I loved him, I wanted to be with him. I came to DC when Jeremiah was like 9 months old. And I wanted to rekindle things with him. He never even answered his phone to me. He didn't even care or nothing. So I was like, you know what? All right, I'm gonna go back to New York. So I went back to New York and I stayed there. And I never talked to him again. Never. So after after all of that happened, I moved to Delaware for a little bit. So when I moved to Delaware, I was walking and I met my third child's father. Um, he was, I was walking and it was back in early 2000s. Come on, people. There was phone, um, payphones and stuff like that. So he gave me $10, no, $5, so I can be able to call him on the payphone. And I was like, sure, I'll take your $5. And I took his $5. And as I took his $5, it's the funny story. After I took the $5, I never called him. Then I was again walking in Wilmington, Delaware, and I met him again, sadly. And he finally said to me, "You never called me." And I was like, oh, dang it. That's true. I never called you. And then he says, okay, fine. I'm going to give you another $10 this time. And you got to call me. Use it for the payphone. You got to call me. And I said, sure. I call you. And I was bored. So I called him. You see, sometimes we can think that we can lead a double life and it's never gonna catch up to us. That's the biggest foolish ideology and thoughts we can ever have. We can only deceive ourselves. I say to him, you can come to my house from 3 a.m. to 6 p.m. From 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. because I do not want you. I don't want ever people to see you in my doorsteps and people to think that we go together. But anyway, he goes and he says, fine, I do it. He said, fine, I do it. He didn't care anyways because all he wanted to do is just sleep with me anyway. So that's what happened. Anyway, so we were getting down and dirty for over a year, and then I got pregnant. But here's the catch. I did not want to have this baby. I was like, I don't want to have any more children. This is horrible. How am I going to be a single mother for 3 children now all by myself? This is just awful because I did not want to be with this man at all. This man was definitely not my type. He was not my type at all. But I can, what can I do? I would never, I did not want to commit another mistake and have an abortion. So I was just going to make it worse for me. Anyways, because my conscience wouldn't allow me to do it anyway. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I had my baby. So it's my baby, Micah. And now my baby's 17. So now, here's the best part about it. What I had to do. Because now I was in a dilemma. Now I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have 3 kids by myself. 3 different baby daddies. What am I to do? What am I to do? How can I do this all by myself? This is hard. And it was very hard. Very, very hard. When I tell you it was the hardest thing I think I ever have to do. I don't care what people say. People can say, oh, you are so strong. I don't want to be strong. I don't want to be strong. I simply want to be able to have a partner to help me. That was my thought, right? I want my partner to help me. I want him to be here. I want him to be capable to pick up the slack for me, to help me. Like, this is hard. This is hard. So then I tried to date. Um, I tried to I tried to date for a couple of times. I dated this guy for 4 years, and he cheated on me. I never wanted to. Um, I never wanted. He cheated on me with a over 300-pound woman, and he said to me that whenever he hugged me, it was like hugging a bag of bone. I'm like, what? And he says, yeah, you gotta gain some weight. I'm like, dude, okay, whatever. So he cheated on me. Um, I never made him feel like he was supposed to be my children's father. I did not like how he treated his own children. So why would I want him to be my children's father? Which is another mistake that we do as single mothers. We want to look around and trying to find a replacement to our children's father. And I completely disagree with that. And let me explain the reasons why I disagree with that. It's because even though our children's father might not be what we wanted it, we gotta remember we chose that man to be our children's father. And there's a lot of things we can do to prevent our children from becoming like their fathers, or just from their fathers not being all the time, they're being persistent, right? Because we want somebody that's gonna always be there for our children. And later on, we're gonna talk about how we can just co-parent, because sometimes you don't even have to say anything. You don't have to do nothing. You all you gotta do just continue the fight. Fight the fight. And I know it's hard. So after I dated this guy for 4 years, um, we broke up. We left it like that, and then I tried again with maybe two more guys, but at this time I didn't bring them around my children or nothing. I just simply left them in the dark, like, you know, they needed to be anyways. I never wanted to have a revolving door for my boys and my children. Because at this time, my daughter still wasn't here. My daughter was back home in Honduras. So she came in, and we're going to talk about that as well. And feel free to write your questions. I don't have any problem answering any questions or whatsoever. So, my my daughter was still back home. So I still tried to date a couple of more times until 2013 was my last date or whatever. And at this point, Jeremiah was um, 10. Let me see. No, 2006, 2013. I don't even know. My math is terrible. Jeremiah was 7 years old at this time, and Micah was 4. So I decided that I wasn't going to date anymore. I decided that I was going to raise my children. I decided that I was going to be a present mom, because their father wasn't there. And they deserve that. They deserve to have a mother present. They deserve to have somebody in their corners at all times. They deserve that. When they come home, mom is there. There's a meal there for them. When we are together, we're together. We're joining this. We're doing this. We're gonna fight the fine fight together. They deserve that, right? So I decided to cut loose every single friend, male friend, or whatever I had. I did not want to be part of nothing. I don't party. I went to a couple of parties in my life. If I went to 50 parties in my life, that's too much. I don't party, I don't drink, I don't do any of that stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I don't smoke, I don't do anything. I'm like, you know what? I don't miss down on anything. So I decided to be a mom. I decided that I don't care what it takes. I'm gonna raise these children. They didn't ask to be here. I made the choice to bring them to to this world, and I have to take care of them. That was my moral uh, duty, to take care of my children and to love them and to cherish them and to teach them to be responsible adults. So after I chose to do that, I got tired. There was a couple of things that I didn't do right, and I still don't do right. There's many things that I'm still struggling to be able to be good at, because being a mother, being a parent, that's all it is. You constantly in practice of something new or learning something new. One thing I did, because I cut ties with all of my loose ends, loose ends, like I have enemies anyway, all of my loose ends and everything, now the work began. It was hard. I had to be able to disown myself. I have to be able to be centered. I have to be able to rely on my God for help in everything I had. I became friends with such a beautiful people that did an amazing job helping me with the boys. And because my daughter was still not here, she came to the States into 2013. And I'm going to talk about it. And it's going to be dramatic situation. Um, I have really good friends. I have friends that loved me, that love me, that would do anything for me. And for that, I'm so grateful. When they said it takes a village, it really does. And I have the best village ever. I have a village that will never, ever, ever look down on me. I have a village that loved me and my son so much, and there's no way I can repay them all of the love they've shown to us. Even though I have my siblings and family is not nowhere near my siblings and family is a story for another day, by the way. Because what I did to raise my sons and raise my family, it was a drastic move. It was such a drastic move that it's it's due to a sad situation that should never had happened. But again, certain things I will not say here. I would say a lot of the things I refuse to put this on social media. It's not necessary. But I will say it as much as I can, just to make sure that you guys understand the route that I took, the why. Because in reality, it have to be some kind of a why, right? It has to be some kind of understanding of why I made the choices I made. Because again, this is mom's talk. This is for moms to talk about what happened within that transition period. What made me make that 360 to be able to raise my children all by myself? What made me want to do that? Because I could have just, you know what, I could have been chasing the wind. I could be chasing the wind. That's not an issue. You know, especially nowadays, everything is acceptable. I could be chasing the wind. But I chose not to. I chose to disown myself. I chose to make a choice that will benefit my children for the rest of their lives. I chose to live a clean, morally clean lifestyle for my children. And because of that, it had a completely different outcome. I've seen many mothers who choose their happiness for their children. And here's the interesting part about happiness, right? Being happy is a light-hearted moment. That's all it is. But being content and satisfying life is a lifelong state. So, because it's a complete different thing, which one will you want to be? You want to be a light-hearted moment or a lifelong satisfaction? Right? We have to make a choice. We have to be able to say, I want my child to have a content life, not a happy life. Happiness goes and comes. It goes and comes. So it's not a permanent thing. But contentment is. Contentment is. And you get to be able to experience that is steady. I love this ancient book says that your peace will be just like the wave of the sea, steady. Right? So that's what I wanted for my children. I I would like to think that we can all have a steady happiness, but unfortunately, we live in times hard to deal with. So we're not gonna have a steady life. We're gonna have tough life from time to time, and at some point, sometimes we're gonna be like, you know what? We could have like a little happy life. Yeah, we could do that. We could do that, but also we gotta be realistic. We live in situations, circumstances that unforeseen event befalls us all. So realistically, right? So after I decided that I was going to um, not date and be single and take care of myself and take care of my children, I decided that I was going to do that, and I did since 2013, being single. But 13-ish, but ever since that, I've been single. No dating, no nothing, no talking to no one, no no nothing, absolutely nothing, and I'm okay with that. Let me say the reasons why I say that did that. Boys, boys and children, not just boys and children, they tend to gravitate to their mother. They love their mother very much. They did. They do all the time. They naturally gravitate to their mother. They want to be with their mother. They want to spend time with their mother. They want to do a lot of things with their mother. That's just the way it is. Nothing. It's nothing. That's how we were created. We were created to um to be a family. We were created to have that unity of family, right? And boys gravitate to their mother because they love their mother, right? So it says another thing, interesting thing that a lot of people say. Don't call me on it. A lot of people say that when boys get married, they normally try to find somebody that is similar to their mother. Please don't come don't please don't make it creepy, but you know they do. But I say this, right? Or sometimes they're gonna marry somebody completely opposite of their mother because their mother might have they might not have a good relationship, and and that's how it ended up. But when he had to do with me, when I made the choice and decision to never be in a relationship until my children are big enough and old enough and they are raised, when I chose to put them first at all times, I did it gladly because I was exhausted. I was so tired. The bad relationships. I never been in an abusive relationship. Let's get that straight. None of my relationship ever put their hands on me. Never been in an abusive relationship. One tried it. but he got arrested, by the way. But he tried it and it didn't work out well for him. So you're welcome. And it wasn't in front of my kids. It was nothing ever around my children or whatsoever. It was only just, it was a stupid situation. But anyway, I chose to never expose my children to violence. I chose to never expose my children to wild parties or to abusive situation or to mistreatable situation. None of that, because again, my thinking is like this. I chose to bring these children to the world. They never asked to be here. My job is to protect them and safeguard them. And because that's my moral duty, I have to do that. So it's my obligation. Yeah, their father bailed out and didn't want to do nothing about it. But the fact of the matter is, like, as far as it depends on me, my kids are gonna get taken care of, right? So for that, I have to do a lot of changes, a lot. It was the hardest thing I think I ever had to do, to be by myself. It was the hardest. The first year, it was brutal. The second year, the third year, I was like, okay, it's getting easier. The fourth year, I was like, okay, I think I can do this for another year. The fifth year, I was like, okay, God help me. My dear God help me. The sixth year, but now, I'm good. I'm good. I don't care. Not to say I will never get married. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when I do, my future husband is going to be the easiest thing for him, because I don't argue, I don't fight, I don't do none of that. And I don't scream, because I don't like that. That is too much for me. That takes too much of my energy. Don't have the time for it. So when I decided to stay single, it was because I was tired and I wanted my sons to just be happy. Because remember, my daughter wasn't here at the time. My daughter had not yet arrived here. Then I have so much to tell you, but I want this to be more of a discussion, because again, the more we get into the podcast, we're gonna have different topics every single week. For example, every week that I get to sit here with you guys, I will go ahead and give you the topic for the following week. Right? We're gonna make sure that we keep it spicy. No profanity, no abusive speech, none of that stuff. So we're gonna keep it decent. We're gonna keep it PG. And because I want this to be also for families. I want parents to understand that raising children is not for the faint of heart. Raising children is not for the cowards. It's not for the ones who's scared. Raising children is for strong people. And not everybody is designed to raise children. Not everybody is designed to have children. Not everybody can have what it takes to raise children. It looks easy, especially if you want to use them as an accessory. It looks very easy, but it's not at all. It's hard. It's a hard labor. It's it's really hard. And another thing is, like, we gotta remember. Another thing we gotta remember: our children are to live without us, right? Our children are to be able to make choices and decisions without us being there. And we want to be able to train them well so they can be able to make those choices and decisions and always think and say, you know what? My parents will be so proud of me. That's what we want. That's how we want to raise our children. And without us doing it that way, we are going to literally Without, I'm sorry, let me take it back. Without us knowing how to do it the right way, we're going to literally miss our mark. I apologize. I have allergies. We're going to miss our mark. We really will. So, some parents might think, I want to do whatever I want. And it's true. You can do it. You can do whatever you want. That's your prerogative. Completely your prerogative. But because the child did not ask to be here, that's why changes have to be made. Choices have to be done. And these choices are not pretty. These choices are to just take ourselves out of the equation and think about these children. I personally, again, chose to be single. I made that choice. You know, singleness is a choice. It's not an option. Some people might say, "Oh, you have kids. You could be single. You don't have another choice." No, no, no. I seen women with 10 kids. They have a husband or boyfriend. You know, for whatever the reasoning of that man is, it could be that he just need a place to stay. But whatever the reason of that man is, I don't know, and I do not care because not my monkey, not my circus. As for me, as far as it depends on me, my children come first. Period. I did not want my door to be a revolving door. I did not want anybody coming in and out of my house. I did not want anybody put their hands on my child. I did not want anybody to tell my kid nothing at all. I did not want anybody to say anything to my kid because I know myself. I didn't want anyone to do anything that I know it would drive me up the wall. So because of that, I just chose to be single. And there's all the deep reasonings behind it. Because of my beliefs, also, I have a strong belief. Because I did not want to be committing fornication anyways, because I've been doing it. Obviously, I got 3 kids out of wedlock, so I decided that I was just not going to do it anymore. I decided that I want to live a clean, moral lifestyle. I didn't want to be immoral anymore. I didn't want to be defiled myself. And again, that's my choice. I'm not putting it in nobody else. I'm not telling people not to do what they do. The fact of the matter is, I have to answer to my God. Because I have to answer to my God, I didn't want nothing to do with that. I wanted to remove it completely out of my life so I can be able to train my sons in the mental regulation of my God. So because of that, I stopped doing a lot of things. I do not care. I do not have to do it. So therefore, I didn't do it. I'm sorry, guys. I have allergies, really bad ones. Seasonal allergies. So now, here I am by myself since 2013. And I made a decision, a life changing decision, that I was going to live the way my God wanted me to live. And again, it was hard. It was the hardest thing I think I ever had to do. But I did it because I wanted to have a more content and satisfying life. Even though this system of things is so hard and everything is crazy out here. But I made that choice. And the more we continue talking and talking and talking, you will see, you guys will understand the outcome. And there's going to be even better outcome in the near future. Now, next week, we're going to be talking about my children, all 3 of them, because my children mean the world to me, and what I had to do in order for me to raise them. The reason we have to talk about my children, because again, there was decisions that had to be made so we can get what we needed to get. And they weren't good decisions. Some of them were terrible decisions. Some of them was tough decisions. Some of them were just crazy decisions. And not to say that crazy decisions have good outcomes, that's not really true. It's just that's what it is, crazy decisions. And sometimes it works out, but in reality, not for the long run. So that's why drastic measurements have to be done. And so I can be able to help my children. The sleepless nights, the inability to provide, the inability to help my children, the struggle that we went through, and everything is gonna be a lot of talk and talk. But I wanted you to understand what it is in order for everything to be good and be okay at the end. Also, we would know why I do not allow my children to have many friends. We would talk about all of that, and I want you guys to give me your opinion of a topic that you guys might want to hear about. Or you can tune in and just simply come and talk to me. You can put your comments. Once you put your comment, it's fine with me. We can talk about it. Whatever it is that you want to talk about, I'm willing to talk about it. The more people view my podcast, the more it's going to be better for us, because I will be able to make even more videos, and this would be amazing. So again, next week I'm going to talk about my children. I'm not going to say the age that I have my children, because you guys will easily guess my age, so no. But I will be talking about many other things. How many siblings I have, right? Where we from? I already said I'm originally from Honduras, but there's more to that part, because that will make more sense of why I made the choice to raise my children completely differently. So there's a lot of conversations that we're going to be having soon. So hopefully you guys can tune in, and we can continue the conversation. And again, I'm signing out, everybody. This is Mama's Talk, and my name is Merlin Jasmine. Actually, I got two first names. I'm Merlin Jasmine, and I will wait for you guys next week. Again, peace out, Mama's Talk.